Namaste, welcome to my videos. My name is Mukesh and I'm the host of the show. My motto is to bring all worldwide successful traders under the same roof so that we can know what they are doing, how they are doing, and the most important thing, the psychology. What they are doing to develop their psychology. Because I believe to be a successful trader, we have to develop a good psychology. Else, one day we will blow our account. So, if you have time, definitely watch this video. And if you do not have time, I want you to pause this video. When you have time, then watch it because this video is going to be very interesting for you. And yes, let me tell you one more thing. The guest who will come in our show, he's very active in Twitter. And definitely, he has a 40 years of experience in trading and he is a successful trader as well. But it will be an amazing session altogether to know what he's doing, how they are doing, and the secret behind a successful trader, the psychology, the mindset. So it will be a completely altogether a good session. So stay with us, watch us till the end. I hope you will enjoy this video. So without wasting a lot of time, let's put our hands together and let's welcome Peter, sir. Hello, Peter. Thank you very much for accepting my request and to be on our show. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. So, without wasting a lot of time, I want you to tell us, our viewers, how you jumped into trading and what was your thought when you jumped and how you started. Actually, what comes into your mind so you jumped into trading?
Yeah. So again, if you follow me on Twitter, you know I've been trading for a number of years. So I actually started trading when I was 15 years old, and so if you imagine back, so that was a long time ago, before there was computers, before there was really much of anything, right? So a friend and I were both interested in business and investing. Particularly, we had a job together, a part-time job, and we talked about business and we talked about investing, and we wanted to figure out some way to make some more money to pay for university, and decided we should open a brokerage account and try to make some extra money that way, right? So that's how we got into it. I mean, again, we obviously wanted to become millionaires like everyone else that starts trading, but and I'm from Canada, as you know, and Canada is very much a resource-based country with, actually we have an exchanges just for penny stocks, right? So again, pennies and resource stocks, and again, back then there was, again, all the stories about how much money you can make in pennies. So we were looking at doing that together. So that's how I started a long time ago.
My second question is based on your previous question. What was your thought when you jumped into trading? First thought.
Yeah. So again, we were looking at this, again, we were serious about it, right? We both wanted to become, or me specifically, I wanted to study business. I wanted to become go to university for business, and I was interested in investing and trading, right? But again, at that point, had really no idea what we were doing, right? We were 15 years old. I had taken an accounting class and maybe a sort of a basic economics class, but really no idea about business. Just I had this passion about trading. I think a lot of traders, when they start out, there's this something, it's like a gold bug, right? There's some bug that attracts you to trading, and part of it might be, a lot of times, to be honest, it's for most people, it is partly about the money, but also it's a game and it's an interesting profession that people are drawn to, right? So, but I specifically at that age, I knew no one that was a trader, probably as naive as you could get. But, again, money being the motivator, but again, serious about learning it and figuring out what trading was all about. So that was sort of the thoughts around that, right? And yeah, and again, it's the idea, first thoughts trading at that early age was, let's just get in there. And I jumped in. We opened a broker. We had to get our parents to open a brokerage account for us because we were so young. But again, back then there wasn't the internet, so you weren't bombarded with ideas. There was newsletters that went around. So actually what happened was I was on a school trip and went to it was for business or accounting or something. We went to a large retailer at that time in Canada. It was called Simpson's And we went into the boardroom. I remember just seeing this boardroom and thinking, wow, this is so impressive, right? Again, it's about, being attracted to large business. So I ended up, my first trade was to buy 100 shares of Simpsons at the time. that was my So that was my trading strategy, right? It's like, oh, the boardroom looks nice, let's buy 100 shares. So anyway, I did that, and it was taken over about a month after I bought it, the takeover bid. So I made money on that. So again, the thought at that time was, this is easy, right? So anyway, that
So
was,
it's stuck on your mind. Oh, it's easy way
yeah,
you can make money.
yeah, this is fun. And again, let's continue. So that sort of set the hook, and was
That's
hooked from,
great, great.
right?
So, continue with the last question. When you started your trading, so you have learned everything from the market, or you referred some books, or you had some mentor to, to tell you something about stock market, what is happening, why happening, and how to do that.
Right. So again, back then, like I said, there was no computers, no internet. In fact, education materials as far as specific to trading was scarce, right? There was hardly anything, and technical analysis or trading as people study it now was really thought to be pretty much a joke, right? Like if you talked about technical analysis, you were like the the strange person in the brokerage firm, right? Everyone maybe had one, but they were drawing charts by hand and talking about all these indicators that no one really understood, right? It was pretty much, mainly fundamentally based investing, right? As opposed to short term, people weren't day trading, right, at that time, right? So the main source of knowledge that we got, or I got for that, was really business books and mentors in the business that were willing to talk to the young kid to a kid, right? So, back then in Canada too, there was brokerages. All nowadays, brokerages is really tightened up. There's handful of large ones, but back then there was boutique brokers all over the place, right? So you could go in and talk to people and meet people in the business. So learn from them. They were willing to teach, and because I was, especially as I got a little older and got into university, and then my goal was to try to get into the industry when I graduated, right? So they were looking for new people too. So it worked out well, and they were willing to teach. But again, so different today, right? With all the many new developments, sophisticated analytical tools, charting packages, algo trading, artificial intelligence. So it's so much different today for someone learning. It's so much easier, so much more information available, and there's lots of mentors and training available for new traders out there. So it's such a different environment. But over my life, I've had a number of mentors, studied a number of different methods and techniques, right? And trading is an ongoing learning process, right? You never stop learning when you're a trader, no matter how many years you've been doing it. There's always something new, especially with all these new developments, right? So, yeah, so it's the market teaches you every day when you trade, but there's lots of great material out there to form the basis of the foundation of your trading. That wasn't there when I started, that's for sure.
No, no, good to hear that. That was exactly true. Where either you learn it or okay. So there is one line. It's a one line, like we say, if you wanted to learn something from trading, then you have to blow your account first. Do you believe in it? Is it true? Do you? What do you think about it?
I don't think it necessarily has to be true, but it sure is a great motivator if you're willing to stick to the game, right? Like a lot of, actually, if you study a lot of famous traders, a lot of them have blown up their account more than once, right? And I know I've said in my tweets, the market will keep teaching you the same lesson over and over again until you either go broke, right, or embrace the lesson, right? And I guess you continue to learn from the market every day, like I said. But do you need to blow up an account? Probably not. I mean, I've seen lots of traders that approach it in a very professional manner. They learn the rules, they understand risk management before they start trading, and they don't blow up their accounts, right? Whereas I think people that do blow up their accounts are usually those that are naive. They jump into the game, they don't understand the risks they're taking, and of course they blow up their account, and then that's their wake up call to, oh my God, I really was naive and didn't know what I was doing, and then they refocus and start studying it properly and then approach it. But I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but it's very common.
That's very common all over the place, even in your country, in my country itself. And do you believe that, within the COVID time, lot of people, they came into the trading, and now ending of this year, they people blowed up their account and they went away.
Yeah, and again, it's when you look at that period of time, right? There's again, I've been around a long time, and there's periods of time where trading becomes very popular, right? During the dot-com boom, as an example, people were quitting their jobs and day trading because the market was so powerfully trending, right? And
Yes.
the same and the same thing has happened pre-COVID. The markets, or even during COVID, right? Like once the first crash took place, the market rallied strong off the bottom and just was in a huge uptrend for a year and a half or whatever during the COVID period. So a lot of people, they were out of work. They had some money from either the government, or they just they had some spare cash to thing, and and there was lots of people talking about now's the time to get in. And the reality is, a lot of people got in, and a lot of people were able to make a lot of money easily, right? And I mean, there's an old saying in Wall Street that don't confuse brains with a bull market. Right? You've heard that one, but it's easy to make money when the market's trending. But then what happens? Like, so for the last 6 months, anyone that has rode that up without really understanding, what they were doing as a trader, are now paying. If they don't have stops in place and they don't have money management rules and things like that, they're sitting there watching their portfolios, drop. And again, when you saw some of these, especially some of the high flyers during the COVID bull market have dropped, 80, 90%, right? So if they were still holding, thinking, oh, this is just a dip, yeah, they've learned that lesson the hard way, right? So, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Good to hear that. So continue with the previous question. My next question is leverage. I'm talking about the leverage. So is it good for us to take the leverage and then take the trade, or we should trade only with our capital, even if you are a newbie trader or a professional trader?
All right. So unfortunately, many new traders that have small accounts, they want to, there's a couple of things, right? A lot of people are told, you can get rich quick. You can get rich quick in all these, different ways to make money quickly, right? So yeah, the reality is, if you trade options, if you trade futures, if you trade high leverage instruments, obviously you can make big money fast, right? So a lot of people with small accounts are kind of attracted to that, by assuming these big risks and using leverage. They go into options for. I get everyone's always asking me, like, do you trade forex? Everyone's into forex these days, it seems like. But again, options, futures, forex are the sort of go-to for a lot of new traders these days. And again, I hear them talk about, I've got $500 and I'm using 400 times leverage, right? It's like, okay, your account's not going to last more than a week, right? So again, my advice is always start small, no leverage, get consistently profitable, and then consider leverage at that time, right?
So as per you, we should not use the leverage. We should start with this very small quantity, and then slowly and gradually we should add more quantity on it. Am I right?
Yeah. And like I said, it's like anything else. You got to walk before you got to crawl before you walk. You got to walk before you run, right? So, and people just, and a lot of new traders, they think it's easy, they think it's simple, and they jump into the deep end, and then, we know what happens then, right? So yeah, start small, get consistent, learn the methodologies, evolve, and then you can consider leverage to enhance your returns at that time, right? And for a lot of people, you don't even have to. I mean, again, a lot of people are attracted to options as a leverage tool, right? And options are so complicated, right? Any new trader thinking they can not only trade but jump into options and be successful, it's just they don't even know anything about options other than they think if the stock's going up, if they buy an option, they're going to make money, and then they soon realize it's not that simple, right? So, but yeah, stay away from leverage until you are consistently profitable, and then even then, a lot of people don't have to. They just compound their returns, and don't need to take on that additional risk, right? But
Okay. So continue with this previous question, where I would like to ask the next question. You said you are still there in the market and you are doing trading since decades, 40 plus years, you have the experience. So I wanted to know, is there any secret that you wanted to share with us? because definitely I wanted my viewers to know the secret behind your success.
Oh, I thought I was just gonna tell you the secret. I want everyone to know the secret. I guess, the biggest secret to trading is that there are no secrets, right? Or, there are only methods and approaches that have an edge that you need to learn, right? And again, a small edge that's consistently exploited is, the true secret to trading success, right? I mean, that's find a method with an edge and trade it. And many new traders believe that older successful traders have some secret that if they would only disclose it, it would provide them immediate success, right? And it's such a naive, again, it just shows you. That's like asking a brain surgeon, can you just tell me the secret to how you do brain surgery, right? It's like, yeah, no, you study medicine, you do all these things, and then eventually you get a scalpel, right? But anyway, they want to know they ask me, like, what's my secret strategy, and they're very disappointed when I tell them, right, I buy pullbacks in an uptrend, and I short rallies in the downtrend, and I buy breakouts, and I short breakdowns, and again, buy support, short resistance, just like everyone else. Like there's no secret methodology necessarily, but I guess maybe the secret is that it takes years of learning and experience and practice to be able to do it consistently and successfully, right? And a lot of people, again, we were talking before the interview about scams and things like that, right? And there's a lot of people out there selling secrets, right? Oh, I've this secret discovered, this ancient manuscript that was discovered that tells you how to trade, right? And people paying big dollars to access these trading secrets, and when they actually get them and read them, it's actually something that they could have just got off a Google search, right? Like, oh, it's like an option credit spread, or right? It's like it is not a secret. It's just a simple method that anyone could do. Like I say, if you Google, trading strategies, you literally have unlimited amounts that you can choose from, right? But again, if you're willing to invest the time watching and studying the markets, it will give you its secrets, right? So you need to dedicate the time, and the market truly is an open book once you dedicate that time, right? But again, it's a lot of people are like, it's like a kid in the candy store, though, right? Where new traders are either paralyzed by all of these different types of trading, then go from one to another, and then influenced by promises of riches and secret methods. And I guess another secret would be just pick one, find what fits with your personality or your risk profile, and take the time to learn it, practice it, and then master it, right? I think so. That's the real secret. And there comes a time where the market trusts you enough to tell you her secrets, right? And all you need to do is listen. But unfortunately, like I said, it takes many years of dedication and to earn that trust. But that's it.
Very true, very true. So let me summarize. So according to you, the more time we spend on the market, then only we will be able to learn it from something from the market. It's not a one-day game, so that somebody can teach me and I can go and I can make profit. Am I right? We need to
Yeah,
spend time in the market to learn something from the market. Am I right?
yeah. It's like learning anything. Let's again, I talked about brain surgery. Let's take tennis, right? You got to hit the ball. You got to see how it feels, and over time you're going to get a good serve, right? So, but to expect that the first time you pick up a racket and hit the ball that it's going to be perfect is ridiculous, right? And it's the same thing with trading. The first time you put on a trade, you know, you're going to have all the lessons that the market's going to teach you. How does it feel when you're in a profit position? What happens if you start to lose money? How do you react to that? What are the rules? And again, you can develop all sorts of rules, but to actually experience it and feel it, again, it takes time, because you're going to react differently until you develop those, how to handle the psychological impacts, and how to actually react to the market and what it's doing, right? So.
Well, Peter, continue with the previous question. I have another question for you. Are you still making mistakes in trading?
Making mistakes. I think if you asked any trader that question and they said no, that they'd be lying, right? So, I mean, there's so many ways to make a mistake when you're trading. I mean, again, of course, I continue to make the odd mistake, and I'm only human, right? That's why. and emotions can always get the best of you. You might have a down day. You might, again, depending on your circumstance and what's actually happening in the market, there's always unforeseen things that may have a pull you one way or another. I mean, there's lots of different mistakes that people make, right? I mean, people force trades, they revenge trade, again, holding your losses too long, maybe adding to your losses, selling out too soon. A lot of new traders, they come with no rules. I mean, that's a big mistake. Not understanding money management and the risks involved in trading and what position sizing means, things like that. A lot of people might be scared to enter a trade, right? You have a bad day or you had a loss the day before and you're just nervous about entering a trade, even when you've got a great setup and, end up missing a move. Again, saw a lot of people get excited, right? And they start chasing them, right? They see something happening that, again, the whole FOMO, they want to get on there and they chase a trade when they know it's, the rules would say it's too late, right? We always tend to trade our last mistake, right? So again, depending on what your last trade was and the last mistake you made, you may continue to do that. Another thing, people move their stops away, further away than they initially set. But to get back to your question, yeah, sure, I still make mistakes, and I'm sure everyone does. Unless you're an algo trader, you're making mistakes.
That's the power of trading. If somebody say I don't do mistake, that means that he or she, they are lying. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's continue with the next question. When your stop loss hit, do you do revenge trading?
Well, I guess, when it comes to revenge trading, revenge trading is really an emotional trade that when you look at the definition of what is revenge trading, right? And usually it's an emotional trade that, where you're breaking your rules, right? And often it's ego based, right? You've taken on a trade, you're expecting a profit, and it goes against you and you take a loss, right? And then that's where you then feel that specific stock owes you something, owes you your money back, and you'll find any reason to get the money back, right? And often you'll break rules, you'll increase your position sizing, you might even get back on and be losing and double down, again, and it often ends in a downward spiral, right? So, again, it's when it comes to trading, you always got to be checking your emotional state before you push that button, right? Every time you're going to put on a trade, you should always be asking yourself, why am I making this trade, right? Is it because I'm emotional and I'm just trying to get back money, or is it following the rules, right? So it'll, again, if you're always checking that emotional state before you push the button, you'll prevent you from making a lot of these trades that are driven by, greed or fear or again, these revenge trades, right? So follow your rules, not your emotions, right? Is the key. But do people do it? Again, it's often easy to get succumb to that for sure. But I try to, again, obviously avoid it. The key is, again, have rules, have processes and checks and balances. Like I think of like an airline pilot, right, where they have a checklist that they have to go before they start flying, right? So same thing, before you put on a trade, have your list and just make sure, okay, am I really making this trade for all the right reasons, or am I doing something that's I know is going to get me into trouble? And 9 times out, you'll know when you're when it's not the right thing, right? So the need to be right often leads to revenge trades, right? People need to think they know more than the market, and it'll pull a trader down, right? So you got to learn to be able to walk away. It's fine if you're willing to admit you're wrong on the initial trade. When I say it's right, I mean you may have a situation where you have a bad trade and part of you emotionally wants to get it back from that trade. And normally what you'll do is the wrong thing, right? But it's okay. The stock may be still set up nicely and ready to make a nice move. So just step back and just make sure that it fits your parameters, and then you can take a trade, but just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, right? So based on your rules, not on your ego, satisfying your ego.
So, so the next question is based on again, is there is there any method to control our greed or emotion? Anything?
To
How to
control
control
your,
emotion and greed?
yeah, well, again, there's some lots of good material out there now on the psychology of trading. Most books that you'll read on this cover some aspect of the psychology of trading, and it's not just about trading books. I mean, just studying general pop, psychology books, self-help books. There's all sorts of material out there to help a person, right? But ultimately, when it comes to trade, and so there's definitely material out there to give you tips, right? But what you need to do is find yourself. A good therapist can also help, right? I think the reality is a lot of people come to trading with a lot of baggage, right? And a lot of beliefs around money specifically that impacts how they trade and how they react to their P&L for the most part, right? Different beliefs like you need to work hard to make money, as an example, right? A lot of people are taught that from a young age. Study hard, work hard, and you'll make money. It's like, well, you don't have to work hard. Once you know what you're doing, the market will give you money quite easily, right? You buy something and it turns into money. So a lot of people have a really hard time with that concept or feel that they need to day trade in order to make money, sit in front of a screen 8 hours a day instead of, why not just be a trend trader, invest your capital and have your day free to do what you want, right? So anyway, that's just an example of a conflicting belief that can maybe be impacting your reality, right? So anyway, spending the time to understand how you're reacting to things emotionally and what that might mean psychologically. Again, it might require more in-depth analysis. A lot of people, live their lives sort of on the surface, right? And they don't dig deep around what things are causing their behavior, right? So anyway, lots of good tools, lots of great people out there for that offer that type of advice. So, but again, it's an important part of trading, and time you should be spending time on that, almost as much time, if not more, than you do on your strategy. So.
Okay. Okay, that's great. So let's continue with the next question. How important it is to do homework before take any trade?
Of course, you do homework. Sorry, I'm just so yeah. Again, homework means, are you prepared for the day, right? So a lot of people again will just jump into the day, right? They'll just listen to news or listen to they'll follow somebody's newsletter or they'll follow somebody's tip, and they'll just jump into a trade without understanding how it fits their personal situation and their trading style, right? So if you're a professional trader and you've got your own methodology and you've got your own processes, then yeah, the homework is about whatever that might look like, right? It might be scanning for stocks, it might be and then looking for prioritizing those stocks to figure out which ones you want to trade. You got to review your current position, what your current capital is, what your current positions are, and make sure that those are being managed and tracked, and you got your proper stop in place, your profit targets, your exit strategies, whatever for that portion of your portfolio. And then obviously the homework is, if you've got still money to trade, then figure out what the best opportunity is given the current market environment, and yeah, do your homework and then be prepared so that when the market opens, or even some people don't even, again, they might just put in an order based on, I want an on-stop buy to buy this stock at this price. If it hits it, they put it in and walk away. But yeah, doing the homework to figure all that out is critical for sure.
Okay, so you talked about news. So the next question is related to the news. Uh, Even if we watch news, we got to know something like, okay, they say in news channel, go buy it. So should we go and buy that stock, or we should first read the chart, what is happening and what is not happening, then we should initiate any order?
Yeah, so I think if you ask a lot of traders, especially technical traders, they would say, I don't even look at the news, right? Because it's all either, but it's, there's information out there that's important for people to know about, like what's going on, maybe an earnings release or the Fed announcement, or, something that might have an impact that you might want to avoid if you're, depending on your type of trading. Um, but I think as far as relying on news for tips to actually trade, again, it depends on what you do. It's to me, if I'm watching news or reading newsletters or whatever, and someone's recommending something because of a whatever, it might be a fundamental story or it might be something going on in the industry. I might screen it through my processes to see, okay, does it fit my parameters, and maybe this is something I want to trade. But I think for a lot of people, it's don't let don't let the news impact you emotionally to take trades that you otherwise wouldn't take based on your criteria and methodology, right? So for a lot of traders, that means don't even look at the news because then you won't be influenced by that, right? But others that there's a lot of people say, for example, they follow a certain sector or industry, and they want to keep track of the companies that are in that industry, and the news might be important to them, right, to understand what's going on. And again, it depends on your time frame as well, right? Shorter term time frame, if you're a day trader or a short term swing trader, it might not be as important as longer term trend traders that are looking for good solid companies, and news might be important there. So
Okay, that's great. So, like continue with the previous question. My next question uh, is it good to invest in penny stocks or we should invest on well-known stocks? What is good for us? If suppose I am not a trader, I am an investor. I want to invest. So where to invest? Penny stock or a well-known stocks?
um, I guess, I just want to make the point whenever someone uses the word best when it comes to trading or investing, it's shouldn't be used. There's no such thing as a best overall. It's what's best for you and what your methodology is and what your risk profile is, right? There's no best, so no best in trading and investing necessarily. I I personally focus on strong stocks and strong sectors for most of my trading and investing. Again, I want high liquidity, nice trends, small spreads, that's on. But to say that I won't take a small portion of my portfolio and look at lower cap stocks and that have a good story and a good potential. I mean, again, it's you. This comes down to again your risk profile and what amount of drawdown you're willing to take and what type of returns you expect. But yeah, if you're going to be buying a bunch of blue chip stocks that are, utilities, say, with a very low beta, and they're just, going to go up, can give you 2 to 3 or 4% returns in a year. That's one thing. That might be how you want to trade. In which case, again, you would avoid penny stocks and whatever, right? But if you want to, again, we came back to that issue of, new traders wanting to get rich overnight, right? And want to make money, and they're attracted to, high leverage and taking huge risks. But there's still a way to trade those type of stocks that can be safer, and can offer you higher returns, right? So you might be taking a bit more risk, but the return potential might be great. Because, like I say, there's a lot of people say that focus on OTC stocks. If you look online, there's lots of groups that study those. So these are smaller junior companies, a lot of startup companies that are looking for funding through the markets, and they become specialists in that, right? They really understand, they follow, again, it might be things where they're getting regulatory approval for, medicine or healthcare stocks as an example, right? Or something new that's happening, like, again, just new technology that's coming. Look at electric vehicles when they started out, right? There's a lot of little companies that, were involved in that industry that's brand new, right? That obviously there's no large, big companies around to invest in those, but it might be a great investment given, a change in, what's going on in business overall, right? So again, there's no best. It's what works for you and fits your parameter. The key thing is, as long as whatever you're doing, you're looking at it from a risk perspective, and you've got strategies in place to to make sure that you're being safe. That's all.
Okay, that's great. Good to hear that. So continue with this. I wanted to know what is financial freedom for you?
Financial freedom, I guess, to me, it just means being able to afford what you need. And I guess the question then becomes, uh, depending on what you feel you need, will vary greatly by person, right? So it's funny when you think about, um, some people are very wealthy and they don't need much, right? And then there's other people that want to be wealthy and they need so much, right? So there's a big gap between how far the gap is between financial freedom from one to the other, right? Some people, if they have, as long as they're earning enough money to pay for their necessities and they don't have, major materialistic uh, needs, then financial freedom can be doesn't take much, right? Whereas if you want to drive around in a Lamborghini and have a mansion and have 3 vacation homes, then there's a financial freedom is a lot different, right? So yeah.
Great. What do you do in your spare time? After trading hours, what do you do?
I have a full-time career. I trade, actively, um, like from a longer term perspective. What I do in my spare time is I have a family. I have 3 adult children. I have a wife. I have a dog. So we spend a lot of time with the family and friends. Hobbies and interests. Again, I like to read. I like to hike. I like to fish. I like to spend time swimming, kayaking, painting. Lots of things. I think
Oh, so
it's
even you do
important.
painting as well.
Yeah. So
That's
I think
great.
Yeah, but I think it's important for everyone to have lots of interests and hobbies and it's easy to get obsessed with trading. You have to have a passion, but you also need a life, right? So I guess that's just a point about, a lot of times you'll find your best insights around your trading by what you do in your free time, right? It's like, shower thoughts, right? A lot of people get great ideas when they're having a shower, right? But it's the same thing. If you're looking at a trade as an example, and you're being emotional and you're making mistakes, like walk away and go for a hike or go for a walk, or clear your head. And it's important as a trader to stay physically active, to stay healthy, to eat properly, to spend time meditating and being mindful, etc. All those things that make you a well-rounded person that you'll bring to your trading as well. So, but yeah, lots of activities outside of trading for sure.
Oh, that's great. So you do a lot of activity in your spare time.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. So, I wanted to know, in my country, there are a lot of scammers. They claims that when you join them, they will make you money double. So I just wanted to know, is it the same thing happening in your country as well, worldwide?
Yeah. So scamming is not something new, and it definitely is something that happens globally. Anywhere there people have money, there's going to be scammers, right? So definitely it's prevalent everywhere. And in fact, with social media now, it's unbelievable. Like I know just as an example from my Twitter account, um, there's lots of people that pretend to be me. They'll open up an account, they'll use my picture, they'll pretend that it's a side account. This is popular with any Twitter account, especially in the trading space where people have got a larger following. They'll pretend to be that person, and then they'll connect you through DM, ask you again. They'll tell you that they can make you so much money with Bitcoin. You just got to put this money into this this Bit wallet or whatever. So yeah, there's scammers all over the place, and it's very prevalent here as well.
Okay. So next question is, I wanted to know, uh, if a newbie trader or even a professional trader, if they are losing money, so what is more important for them? First improve the psychology and then go with price action and then indicator, or first indicator, price action, and then improve your psychology? What is best being as a trader?
Um, so again, I think when you're saying what's best, again, there is no best necessarily. It's what's best for that specific trader at that specific time, right? So when you're talking about, again, all components of trading are important to ensure your success, right? I mean, you can't just say, if you fall short on one, it can prevent your success, right? Um, but many new traders, like we were saying before, they just want to jump into the deep end without any clear understanding of all of those different components that will sort of be important for them to eventually learn to be able to stay in the game. I mean, if I had to prioritize, I would probably say, psychology is going to be the important one, and then, risk management and whatever portion sizing or whatever that you're asking about is critical. But again, there's no easy answer here. It's a holistic, thing, right? So, but again, if you're losing money, the question is you gotta analyze and spend the time to figure out why that's the case, right? And then that will answer the question. It might be like, man, I'm risking 10% of my capital on each trade, and then you realize, well, that might, if you look at your history, that's, again, you're going to have an 80% drawdown probability, probably, in which case it might be, if you're willing to take that kind of risk, you got to be willing to expect that type of drawdown, right? But it could also be, then maybe you need to, okay, I don't want to assume that, or I'm not willing to take that kind of risk for that type of return. So I need to change those rules and, tighten up my risk management parameters, as an example, right? Or it could be whatever edge you had in the market, or that you thought you had, is no longer there, right? The market structure's changed in the short term, and if you're trend trading and all of a sudden the market's in a consolidation phase, maybe you need to step back and figure that out and either find a different method for that period of time, or walk away for a bit, right? It could be that you're, again, having a period in time where you are trading emotionally, right? Where you really do need to focus on what's going on with me personally. What do I need to do to stop this type of emotional trading and deal with that? So I don't think there's an easy answer to that, other than, you got to look at your own personal situation, your own trading methodology, and figure out why you're having this drawdown, because drawdowns is very much a part of most trading methods, right? And that's to be expected as a probability, as a trader with, probabilities of a string of losses being possible. You're going to have a drawdown, right? But the question, and again, most traders will know that, is this because of my method, or is it because of something else I'm doing wrong that I need to focus on fixing, right?
So, Peter, I just wanted to know, to reach at your level, what should I supposed to do? What should I maintain, or what should I do, develop in me so that I can reach at your level? Because you are into the market since decades. So if I wanted to continue my journey, what should I follow so that I can reach at your level?
Right. So I guess the point I'd make there is that sort of each trader has their own path on this journey, right? And will have varying levels of success and varying levels of success over time, right? So, the basic answer is trading is just like any other profession, right? Or investing or whatever. It's like many other professionals. You have to begin by learning as much as you can about the fundamentals of what's involved. Again, so for me, I always suggest, studying various traders as a new trader, right? So again, a lot of people, we were talking about scammers or whatever, just, getting hyped up and jumping into the deep end, right? But again, one point is around patience. Like I said, I've been trading for decades, right? One trade or 1 week of trading isn't going to make or break you. So recognize that coming into the game, that, have realistic expectations and have realistic, realizing that you don't learn to trade overnight, right? And you got to, figure that out, right? So again, that's why I always suggest studying various traders and their methods. There's lots, again, like compared to when I was 15, and now there's so much material out there on, market wizards and different traders or whatever, and so much material to study, right? So really study various methods and really figure out what appeals to you or fits your personal situation, right? Like maybe you do want to be a day trader. Maybe you've got a full-time job like myself and you want to be a swinger or trend trader, right? But so figure out what fits your parameters, and then so find something that appeals. And again, there's so many different styles, so that's instead of flipping from one to the other, right? Like you got to find something and really dedicate to it. It's like, again, if you're going to go to university, what are you going to study? Figure something and then dedicate the 4 years to doing that, or whatever time it takes. So then again, I mentioned about having realistic expectations. Again, coming to the game, realizing that you're not going to make 100% a week trading, right? And those are the scammers, and so having realistic expectations. The realistic expectation for new traders is you're going to lose money probably for a while. Figure out how not to lose money as a starting point, right? I would also recommend finding a mentor or a group that can help guide you and accelerate your learning curve. Again, it's right now there's so many discords out there, so many groups, so many great the trading community, especially on Twitter that I'm involved in. There's some really great guys and ladies out there that are helping people along, right? So find somebody and work with them as a team. Trading is a very lonely profession. It's nice to have fellow traders that you can communicate with, just like us talking right now, right? It's so great to have people that you can talk to. This never existed before, right? But being able to share people's experiences and knowledge with a larger group, take advantage of that. And there's lots of people out there willing to help you, right? Again, we were talking about start small. Don't take all your life savings and put it onto the first hot tip you find. Trade very small. Learn the processes, all the tools that you're going to be using, how to press the buy button, how to figure that out slowly, right? I also always recommend documenting your learning. Really, again, when it's written down, it's absorbed. Really document it. Have a focus on continuous learning. Again, we talked about the psychology. Review your beliefs and how they impact your trading, and watch as you trade how you're reacting to certain things, and be ready for self-improvement and continuous and evaluating your own personal situation. And again, I would say having a commitment, having a passion, being disciplined, all of these things, all the things it takes. And this isn't just about trading. This is any profession, right? I mean, that it takes hard work and dedication to become skilled and good at it, right? But again, you must be willing to take full responsibility for your returns, commit the time and effort to the learning and to making the necessary changes as you go to your beliefs, and being self-aware and handling the market rallies over time. Again, it's that thing about, most people, when they jump into the trading, it's either they're in a very, like we talked about the COVID bull market, they jumped in, they haven't gone through different cycles, right? Or different even market environments, right? The market goes through, different stages, right? It's in an uptrend, it consolidates, it goes in a downtrend, it consolidates. And knowing where you are in that cycle and experiencing those cycles and adapting to it and learning it. But again, so again, it's not about being like me. Everyone's on an individual journey. Just if you're really serious about it, commit to it and dedicate the time and hopefully.
Great. It was altogether, it was a lovely session with you, and definitely I learned a lot, and definitely I want even my viewers to learn. But yes, if my viewers, you guys want, if you have any question, please do send me emails, or definitely you can comment on it. Peter sir, can we continue later part, so that if we have some more questions, if you have time?
Yeah, I'm always available to have a chat with you for sure. And again, those that follow me on Twitter, they can DM me, and if they have questions as well. And I really like talking about trading. I like sharing any knowledge with traders and helping any new traders getting
Definitely. So to all of my viewers, Peter sir is very active on Twitter. If you want, definitely you can contact him via DM, and definitely he will reply. He will get back to you.
That would be great. Thank you. It was like great meeting you, great chatting with you, and look forward to visiting you in Canada when you come to visit. So
Definitely.
Hope you have a great evening and weekend, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Definitely, sir. Thank you very much for accepting my request. Last time, namaste, sir. Definitely. Even next time, if you visit India or I visit Canada, I will cook for you Indian food. That's my word to you.
Namaste to you, and again, looking forward to it. Thank you.
So thank you, sir. Thank you, Peter. Please enjoy your day, rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.